It's all covered in today's China Truths.
Recently, the Chinese Communist Party authorities once again claimed to boost consumption and introduced 30 measures, but analysts believe they are completely ineffective. A netizen in Chaoyang District, Beijing, posted a video saying that most of the stores are closed and the economy is in a very serious recession. A woman on the Yangtze River posted a video saying that large ships are parked on the Yangtze River and there is no cargo to transport. A long line of large ships has been lined up there for months. On March 17th, a Beijing netizen posted a video saying that near number 10 Shuangqiao Courtyard, Chaoyang District, Beijing, on the edge of Beijing's 5th Ring Road, most of the stores are closed and are urgently selling, which is shocking. The netizen said that when he came before the epidemic, it could be said that it was thriving and business was okay, but this year he came and found that many stores were closed. Deoxiangkun is also closed, typing and copying are also closed. Beauty, hairdressing is not working, nothing can be done. I didn't expect it to be so closed. The video shows that many stores are closed, with "for rent" urgent sale notices posted. The netizen pointed to a closed real estate company and said, "Real estate companies are like this. How many more ways can you find?" The netizen analyzed that there are not many empty houses in this community, which means that the population occupancy rate is still high. But why is business so bad? Because everyone has no money. On the same day, a woman posted a video saying that she would show everyone the market situation on the Yangtze River ships. Don't you see these big ships? They are all tens of thousands of tons. The woman said that because the economy is not good and there is no cargo to load, many large ships are parked on the Yangtze River. The video shows dozens of large ships anchored in a water area. The woman said that these ships are in foreign debt, and the expenses for personnel, insurance, and annual inspections on board are all unprofitable. Eating is a problem. Can anyone tell us whether the market will be better next year? The Chinese economy is in turmoil. On March 16th, the Chinese Communist Party authorities put forward a special action plan to boost consumption involving 30 items. In December last year, they also issued the outline of the strategic plan for expanding domestic demand, 2022 to 2035, which regards expanding consumption as a life-saving medicine for the economy. However, experts believe that these measures cannot solve the problem at all. American economist David Huang told the Epoch Times that Beijing officials hope to use the pull of consumption to get the economy back on track for growth. However, residents are not willing to consume. In the case of a sluggish real estate market, rising unemployment, and slowing income growth, residents are more inclined to save rather than consume, and pure credit stimulus may not be effective. Implementation commentator Wang He recently wrote an article in the Epoch Times analyzing that due to the predatory nature of the CCP's economic system, the CCP dares not face up to the institutional and structural factors that restrict Chinese people's consumption. Zhongnanhai has not changed its predatory nature and has only shouted common prosperity, expanding consumption, and expanding the middle-income group. The policies it has introduced are like drizzle that can't even wet the ground, and Chinese people's consumption will never be boosted. China's banking industry is in crisis. 307 large and small banks have disappeared in the past 3 years. China's economy continues to deteriorate, all industries are struggling, and the mainland banking industry is also in crisis. According to statistics, there were 195 disappeared bank legal entities in 2024, and 307 banking institutions have withdrawn from the market in the past 3 years. On the morning of March 17th this year, the National Financial Regulatory Bureau of the Communist Party of China released the latest data showing that as of December 31st, 2024, there were 4,295 existing banking financial institutions in China. According to the mainland Kailian news agency, official data shows that at the end of 2021, there were 4,602 banking financial institutions. At the end of 2022, there were 4,567. And at the end of 2023, there were 4,490. This means that between 2022 and 2024, 307 banking institutions disappeared. Among them, 195 banking financial institutions withdrew in 2024. In terms of the number of withdrawals, this has set a new high in the past 3 years. The report stated that these disappeared banks are mainly rural commercial banks, rural credit cooperatives, and village banks. According to incomplete statistics, in 2024, a total of more than 75 village banks were merged and absorbed, and more than 55 village banks were acquired and will be absorbed and merged later. A banking analyst at a securities company said, "I believe that a large number of small banks will be absorbed and merged this year." According to the announcement of Henan Rural Commercial Bank, a total of 25 institutions, including Henan Rural Commercial United Bank and rural commercial banks, rural credit cooperatives, in Zhengzhou, Xinjiang, Puyang, and Jiyuan, as well as Xingyang Lifeng Village Bank, were merged to establish Henan Rural Commercial Bank. This means that 24 banking financial institutions lost their legal entity status. In addition, the approval of the establishment of Inner Mongolia Rural Commercial Bank also means that 119 banking institutions lost their legal entity status. As of February 26 this year, 37 banks had been merged or dissolved in 2025, while only 2 banks were merged or dissolved in the same period last year. At the end of December 2024, data from the Financial Stability Report 2024, released by the People's Bank of China, showed that at the end of 2023, the central bank conducted financial institution ratings on 3,936 banking institutions. According to the rating results, there were 357 red zone banks, among which rural cooperative institutions, including rural commercial banks, rural cooperative banks, and rural credit cooperatives, and village banks accounted for a relatively high proportion of red zone banks. Institutions marked as red zones are at higher risk. Additionally, from a regional distribution perspective, Liaoning canceled 41 banks, Hebei canceled 36, Xinjiang canceled 25, and Hainan canceled 20. Since the data officially released by the Chinese Communist Party is usually watered down, the number of high-risk banks may far exceed the officially reported figures. Wang Jisheng, Secretary General of the China Asia-Pacific Elite Exchange Association, told NTD in January this year that these small and medium-sized banks were reorganized or dissolved, likely because the Chinese Communist Party was trying to digest the overall financial systemic crisis caused by real estate during this period. To some extent, this also reflects that the economic crisis and pressure have reached a boiling point, forcing authorities to use this extremely rapid method to merge or eliminate these small and medium-sized banks. Wang Jisheng stated that the CCP's invisible local debt cannot be resolved, as it is tied to the real estate bubble and the inability to recover loans. These factors will create financial time bombs in banks, further leading to a financial crisis. Therefore, the merger or dissolution of small and medium-sized banks is merely a slow euthanasia process. Zetian, a professor at the University of South Carolina, previously stated that the closure of so many banks is a serious issue. The obvious reason is that the entire Chinese economy is in severe recession, and even the financing and financial activities of real enterprises are declining, leading to reduced bank profits, bad debts, abnormal capital flow, capital shortages, and massive losses. The Economist once predicted that the CCP would accelerate the absorption and annexation of small banks. According to the rating agency S&P Global, this merger project will take 10 years to complete. Those who support the merger of small banks argue that fewer small banks make regulatory supervision easier. Critics, however, believe this is just a trick. They argue that merging dozens of failing banks will only create larger and even more problematic banks. What worries the Chinese Communist Party authorities most is that the collapse of small, poorly performing banks will threaten social stability. In 2022, large-scale fraud in Henan village banks led several banks to freeze depositors' withdrawals, eventually forcing depositors to take to the streets to demand a resolution. The authorities then sent police to maintain order and arrest depositors defending their rights. As China's economy struggles, the mainland financial industry has seen a wave of layoffs and salary cuts. According to data from the 4 major banks last year, the cumulative staff reduction over the past 5 years reached 67,000. The Agricultural Bank of China had the largest staff reduction, cutting 35,000 employees since 2017. Even more concerning is that currently, 54% of Agricultural Bank of China's employees are over 40 years old, while only 21% are under 30.
Jidu Auto's massive layoffs. Is a shakeout in China's EV industry imminent? Jidu Auto, a new electric vehicle, or EV, brand backed by tech giant Baidu and automaker Geely, made headlines just 3 months ago with the launch of its second model. This week, however, the company abruptly announced massive layoffs and the closure of its operations, raising concerns that a significant reshuffling of China's EV industry may already be underway. It's over. Don't watch anymore, we're shutting down. Just leave. Yes, our car company has gone bankrupt. It happened today. Leave quickly, exclaimed a Jidu Auto livestream host in tears after learning of the company's closure. She broke down emotionally during the broadcast, clearly devastated by the news. On December 13, Baidu and Geely issued a joint statement announcing that Jidu Auto would undergo layoffs and cease operations. The statement read, "The competitive landscape of the industry has undergone tremendous changes, rendering our existing business plans unviable and posing significant operational challenges." Baidu and Geely also pledged to ensure the proper maintenance, repair, and servicing of Jidu vehicles for existing users and to address subsequent matters in a lawful and appropriate manner. 2 days prior, on December 11, social media videos surfaced showing that Jidu Auto's operations had ceased abruptly, with mall security cordoning off Jidu Auto's showroom. By December 12, Chinese media outlets, including Jiemian News, reported that several departments within Jidu Auto had suddenly announced dissolution on the spot. Many Jidu employees, worried that the company's executives would flee, gathered at the headquarters to confront CEO Xi Jinping. They demanded the payment of overdue Social Security, medical insurance, housing funds, December wages, and severance compensation. Reports indicate that the company had not been paying Social Security contributions since November. Employees, now owed wages, began live streaming as they removed office supplies and equipment as a form of self-compensation. One live streamer told local media that after the company's announcement of its dissolution, employees started taking items from the offices and stores to compensate for unpaid wages. On the afternoon of December 12, CEO Xi Jinping held an internal meeting where he stated that the company's accounts had been frozen but assured staff he would not flee and was actively seeking funding. Just 10 days earlier, on December 2, Jidu Auto had issued a denial of bankruptcy rumors, claiming operations were entirely normal. This abrupt collapse came as a shock, given Jidu Auto's strong backing from Baidu and Geely, 2 major players in their respective industries. According to official data, Jidu Auto was jointly established by Baidu and Geely in January 2021, with Baidu holding a 55% stake and Geely owning the remaining 45%. At its inception, the company vowed to create robot cars. In June 2022, Jidu unveiled its first concept vehicle, the Robo01. By August 2023, however, Jidu Auto rebranded to Jiwei Auto due to production licensing issues, and Geely's stake increased to 65%, with Baidu's holding reduced to 35%. Despite its ambitious claims of competing with Tesla, Jidu struggled to make a significant impact in the market. Sales figures for its first model, the Jiwei 01, remained disappointing. For the first half of 2024, monthly sales barely exceeded 1,000 units, reaching 218 units in January, 147 in February, 511 in March, 362 in April, and 1,001 in May. Only after July 2024 did sales marginally improve, peaking at 3,107 units in October. However, compared to competitors, these numbers paled, with some EV brands achieving similar volumes in weekly deliveries. Sam Fiorani, Vice President of Auto Forecast Solutions, a Pennsylvania-based automotive industry data and forecasting firm, told Radio Free Asia that Jidu's exit from the market was partly due to a mismatch between production plans and actual demand. He noted, manufacturers prepared for an explosive growth in EV demand, but the market hasn't met those expectations. In September 2024, Jidu launched its second model, the GUA07, claiming an investment of over $1.373 billion in its development. However, reports soon emerged of overdue payments to suppliers, and rumors spread that shareholders had decided to stop further investments and shut down the company's vehicle production operations. Internal sources revealed that Jidu had over 5,000 employees, including regular staff and contractors. Reports suggest that the company planned to completely dissolve its R&D department and retain only 80 of its 300 employees in the after-sales department. Disgruntled employees were given two options. Voluntarily resign, with compensation equal to 1 month's salary plus a severance package, N+1, payable by the end of February 2025, though this was not guaranteed due to financial constraints. Stay with the company, knowing that wages would stop from December 2024 and Social Security payments would cease, effectively meaning employees would need to work at their own expense. Over the past 2 days, employees have continued to protest. According to the International Financial News, Geely and Baidu facilitated payments to cover Jidu's November Social Security contributions on the evening of December 12, but negotiations with suppliers remain ongoing. Suppliers have also been severely impacted. A human resources provider for Jidu expressed frustration, stating, "They owe us tens of millions of yuan, with some invoices dating back to April last year." Reports indicate Jidu owes over $41.19 million to 50 suppliers, with individual debts ranging from $6.300 to over $13.7 million. Internal sources suggest the actual number of affected suppliers and the total debt, potentially including over $137.3 million owed to Geely Group alone, could be much higher. An employee surnamed Wang said on December 14 that Jidu is now a financial mess with liabilities too large for Geely to absorb. While Baidu initially considered reinvesting, it ultimately withdrew due to the enormous funding gap. Another employee, surnamed Gao, revealed that authorities had begun enforcing stability measures. Live streams from Jidu's headquarters were shut down, and those speaking out faced repercussions. Some employees and suppliers have been detained for raising complaints. Although Baidu and Geely have pledged to maintain after-sales services for Jidu vehicles, concerns remain. Images circulating online show Jidu vehicles receiving overdue payment notices from internet providers, warning of potential network disconnection if fees are not paid by December 20. Netizens joked, if they don't pay by the 20th, Jidu cars will lose internet connectivity, turning them into glorified four-wheeled batteries. China's EV market, once hailed as a symbol of innovation, now faces a critical juncture. According to Marklands, 9.017 million new energy vehicles, or NEVs, were sold in China in 2023, with the top 5 brands, Li Auto, NIO, Leap Motor, Xpeng, and Hosen, accounting for just 10.5% of total sales. NIO's founder, Li Bin, recently stated that the EV sector has entered its most brutal survival stage, predicting that only a few elite companies will endure. Meanwhile, overcapacity looms large. In 2023, China's overall NEV production capacity utilization rate ranged from 57% to 76%, with many brands operating below 50%. Exports, once seen as a solution, now face international trade disputes. The European Union and the US have imposed anti-subsidy and 100% tariffs, respectively, on Chinese EVs. Jidu's sudden collapse has sent shockwaves through China's EV industry. Employees and consumers remain anxious about their future, while industry insiders worry that many new EV startups lack the necessary resources and long-term planning to survive. As one observer noted, the industry is now littered with failed dreams and unsustainable ambitions. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.